Before we get into our meditation, I want to share something with you, and that has to do. Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
Just yeah. So last week we chanted Om. Good morning, Dandiway. Good morning. And we had a little explanation, and so I'm gonna do that again because I ran into a brother. I shouldn't say I ran into him. I contacted him, and he shared something with me. So let's see. So last week, can everybody see that?
Yes.
So this is how you would write Amun Ra in Medu Necher, Suf language, hieroglyphics, flowering reed, game board, squiggly line indicating water or vibration, and then this mouth here is and this arm and the circle with a dot in it, and this anthropomorphic figure here is Ra. So this side is Amun, and this side is Ra. Well, I happened to make a phone call to, and Baba Kofi will remember this name. His name was Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare.
I still got him on my Facebook.
And Reverend, that's how I contacted him. Yeah. And Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare, this is ministers in training in the mid-'80s. So to my right, on the far, all the way on the far right, I guess this would be the left on the screen, is Minister Lizel, that Minister Lizel that we talk about and we recognize, and sometimes he'll come through from Mississippi. And then this is Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare. He is from Ghana, and myself, Makalisi, Baba Mahib, Doris, my wife Doris Al-Kabelan, and this is Baba Greg. And we were meeting in Baba Greg's house. We were having a training, ministers in training, and Baba Greg used to live on Ignacio in Oakland, not too far from seminary. So I called Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare. Now, what's special? Well, there are many things special about Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare. But what, I just called him out of the blue, and he picked up the phone. Imhotep. I said, hey, man, how you doing? And you know what he said? Just in our conversation, he says, I've put the Jesus thing down. You know, when he came to us, he was an ordained Presbyterian minister.
That's right.
And then he was ordained, first ordained minister of Wose community. And then he went to Ghana to start the Church of Asar. I don't know what happened to that, but he ended up moving to New York. And, you know, he was teaching in the seminary there. And then he retired a couple of years ago. And so when I called him, he was in Guinea. He says, I put the Jesus thing down. Now, I just want to tell you, Reverend Yao Obing Ajasare, when we used to study and we would use the Bible, Reverend Obing would bring his Greek version of the New Testament, and he could read the words. We were using English, and he was using Greek. And he told me, he says, I put the Jesus thing down, he says, because in my research, what I have found is that every time Jesus is saying, verily, verily, the proper translation is amen. You know, yes, Minister Miley. I was astonished with that news. And Yao would know. I mean, he reads the Greek. He you know, he does the exegesis and all of that. So I wanted to talk to you about that. And then he went on to say, because we used this last week, Revelations 3:14, where Jesus is referred to as the Amen. you know. And then we also used at the beginning, it will say Acts 7:22, where he says Moses was schooled in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, or everything Moses learned, we learned from the Egyptians. And Yahweh used that. He said the correct translation of that is Moses is like he went to seminary or school, you know. So he was very excited about it. I said, well, man, would you come and speak to us one day? He says, I'm in Africa. I said, no, man, on Zoom. He says, oh, yeah. So I wanted to say that. And then one time we were in, we were having our anniversary in Sacramento. And in those days, we would have two services. So we would have a morning service, and then we would have an afternoon service so people could come up from Oakland. And we would have it in Makalisi Park. And Makalisi Park was a park that's kind of like DeFermery Park in West Oakland. And you know, while we were getting, you know, we were bringing chairs, and we were bringing, you know, podium and different things like that. We bring sound equipment. You know, it's kind of like that Wino Park you know, over there by St. Mary's in Oakland is a park called Wino Park. And I know you will know what that means just by that name. And so there were winos there, and they weren't moving. You know, and you know, it was getting closer to the time, and you know, I was like, God, are we going to have to forcibly remove these brothers? You know, what a scene. You know, at the anniversary, we're gonna have to fight over this little place, little turf. And my wife said, let's sing Amen Ra, Spirit of Mot. And this is a song that one of the many songs that Minister Makalisi wrote, and it goes like this: Amen Ra, Spirit of Mot, help us walk the sacred way with all that we've got. And sisters and brothers, the moment we started singing that song, it was like we hit those winos with lightning. They jumped up, and we were able to have our anniversary in the park without incident.
Without the violence.
Without the violence. So, just moving on really quickly. I know that you're anxious to get into meditation, but Amen Ra is composed of two neters, or neteru. Amen at the top here, and Ra at the bottom. It's mentioned in the pyramid text. It is part of the 8 primordial deities, or neter, and it's part of what the Greeks called the Ogdode, but the Africans called it Kaminu Hinu. And this is how you're able to remember the 8, and this group did it, and they put it in the mnemonic like an ankh. So Amen, Aminet, Nun, Nunet, Ku, Kuket, He, and He-het, How Het. And so this is hidden and its opposite, the primordial oceans and its opposite, boundlessness and its opposite, infinity and its opposite. And this is how Amen is portrayed, you know, in glyphs, statues. And, you know, his headdress is reminiscent of the tablets they say that Moses came down from the mountain, Mount Sinai with. And here is Imhotep's mom. I'm not even going to try to pronounce her name, but here she has the flowering reeds, or that same type of headdress, and people are still wearing the same hairstyle today in modern times. So It's found in the book of prayers and sacred praises. And there's one in particular that we can look at. I want to recite before we get in. These are all in the Hosea book of prayers and sacred praises. Amun-Ra, Lord of Waset or Wose, is one who rescues those who are shut in and cut off. For you are merciful, and when people cry out to you, you come from afar. Amun-Ra is the helmsman who knows the waters well. He is the rudder for the weak. Book of Prayers and Sacred Praises, number 3. Sweet it is to speak your name. It is like the taste of life. Yes, like the taste of bread to a child, like the breath of freedom to the captive. It is good to worship you, O Ra, is good. For you, O Lord, are great to seek. For if found, you turn away all fear. Place joy, O Ra, in the hearts of the people, for happy are those who see you, O Ra, and they rejoice each day. Your name will be a protection for the body of anyone who is alone. It is a salvation and health for those on the water and a deliverance from the crocodile. It is good to remember Ra in the time of turmoil, for he is a deliverance from the mouth of the aggressive. Amun-Ra is magic, words of power over water when his name is said above the deep, and the crocodile has no power when a person calls his name. The winds change, the headwinds turn around. It grows calm when one remembers Ra. His name is useful in the time of trouble, a gentle breeze, one who calls on him. I rely on your name. May it be my physician. May it eliminate my body's illness and drive away all pain from me. And I'm going to cut it right there, and I want us to get into that recognition or realization of Amun this morning, and glad so many were able to join us. And so if you could just sit up straight, and we're going to put our hands in this mudra, which is the index finger and the thumb, just lightly touching, and the remaining fingers remain straight. We put that on our lap, face up, and let us take in 3 cleansing breaths. But before we do that, just remember what we're intoning. Ah, at the just below the navel, and then when we open our mouth, it's ah, and as we close our mouth, draw it to a close, and it becomes ooh. We feel it in our chest, the vibrations in our chest, and then when we close our mouth completely, it's and that is reverberates in our throat, going all the way to our brow center, our third eye. And so, and we're going to do 21 of those, and then we're going to remain silent for the remaining time. So let us take in 3 cleansing breaths. So inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth with parched lips, just parted lips. And inhale through the nostrils again. And through parched lips. Expand our diaphragm again. And exhale. And now just observe the inhalation and exhalation of your breathing. Head tilted slightly upwards, which allows your focus to be naturally between your mid-eyebrow point. We'll remain like this for the next few minutes. And you find your mind wandering, just gently bring it back to your breathing. Have your mind on your breathing and your breathing on your mind. This is a very simple technique, but very powerful, very strong. The ins and outs of your breathing. And as your breathing becomes slower and slower, your mind becomes less agitated, and you're able to go into the depths, into the deepest, into the most powerful brain waves that you have. Relax, make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Focus gently on your mid-eyebrow point. All right, sisters and brothers, slowly and very slowly, now you can open your eyes very slowly. This is a very good way to center yourself by just intoning that settles your mind. And those of you that are teachers, you can teach this to your students that may seem to have ADHD. This calms them down. And after like a week or so, by doing this for a few minutes a day, you'll notice a difference. You'll notice a difference in yourself. So I challenge you to do that. You know, you might be listening, how can this help me? Well, that is a mantra, and the mantra is a vehicle that you ride, that you take to the depths of your very being. We have about 5 minutes before service, and I would like to conclude. I don't know how this is going to sound. You can take yourself off mute or leave yourself on mute, but I'm going to conclude with Minister Makalisi's song, Amen Ra, Spirit of Ma'at. So you can sing along with me if you know it. If you don't know it, you can just observe. Amen Ra, Spirit of Ma'at. Help us walk this sacred way with all that we've got. Amen. Raw Spirit within me, hear my prayer, Lord, I come to thee. Hear my prayer, Lord, I come to thee. Hear my prayer, Lord, I come to thee. Ashe, we're going to start our service in about 4 minutes. Thank you for joining us for this morning's meditation. One love, one heart. Glad to see everyone.